Hey guys, how you all doing? Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're all just relaxing, all just chilling out. Um, Today, I said in my last episode I would do a comparison between the Juju bow and the bone meringue, possibly. And then I remembered there's another item in the game that can also deal damage to Enderman, can also be used as a projectile. Uh, it's the Flower of Truth. Yeah, I completely forgot about this item, and it's an absolute god tier weapon. The best thing about the Flower of Truth is it has a stacking ability. So when it damages one mob, it flies in, can hit up to three other mobs, and triples in damage by the time it hits the last mob. The Juju Bow also has a similar thing. It hits three mobs on impact, but it does the same amount of damage. It doesn't have that same stacking ability. Uh, so today I'm going to be doing a damage comparison, just a usefulness comparison between the two of them. So to start off, I can tell you already that the Juju has far better range. As a base damage on its first shot, it does more damage than the Flower of Truth. Um, the Flower of Truth by the end will, on its third shot, will be doing more damage. Plus, because it's a melee weapon, you can get things like lifesteal and all that applied on it, which you can't have on the bow. So the advantage about having the flower is you get health back for every hit, and that's up to 3 hits. So you're healing 3 times every time you fire it off, which is really good. The good thing about the bow is it doesn't require mana, and because of its extra range, the Juju bow will be a much better option for dragons if that's what you're looking at. Um, but then the other thing I looked at was with the with the flower, sorry, when firing it off, you don't get knockback on mobs. And one of the really good things about the Juju is for Enderman Slayer, Sven Slayer, any of those, you can just fire off arrows at the mob and it'll hold the mob at a distance, allowing you to regen health whilst also damaging the Slayer. So I found when paired with Mastiff and a Griffin pet, the Juju bow is really, really good. When paired with a Livid as well, Livid and Juju plus Mastiff, this will allow you to grind Sven really easily. You could be grinding tier 3s, tier 4s, no problem whatsoever. I would suggest grinding 3s, maybe 4s if you've got a party until you can get the Mana Flux. I'm stuck with the Radiant Orb because I don't have a party, solo player right here. But that's alright, I'm still grinding out 3s, and occasionally I get in lobbies, team up with people, and I can grind 4s. So, Juju and Livid plus this setup here, perfect for Sven. For Enderman Slayer, yeah, not bad. Put it with the Shadow Assassin and the bow, and you can just sit there and just be slaying through tier 1s, no problem whatsoever. I don't have enough strength or anything to complete tier 2s, but the closest I've come to defeating a tier 2 was whilst using the Juju, because it was allowing me to hold it at a distance whilst just firing off. So, for Slayers, Juju, yeah, is the way to go, 100%. For dungeons, I'm going to have to recommend the Flower. The Flower, with that stacking ability and healing ability, just leaves the bow for dead in dungeons. Actually, in dungeons, the Flower outshines the Livid Dagger. But overall, yeah, both are really good options, really solid choices to go with. Now, for the same price as a Juju at the 23 to 24 million price mark, you can actually get a maxed out Flower of Truth. You can get it withered with recom, so it'd be mythic, 5-starred, one for all Flower of Truth, which is disgusting to use. Like, it slaps with Livid Dagger, slaps the Juju, all of that. So for the same price as the Juju, you could just get a maxed out Flower, and that's really all you need. But for Slayer tasks, I would recommend having the Juju because it does come in real handy. It is very useful for Slayer tasks. Livid Dagger as well, just a nice melee weapon to have, unless you do have the maxed out Flower. So really, with the Juju, with the Livid and the Flower, really you can go either way. I'm personally probably going to sell my Livid and just get a maxed out Flower plus the Juju. But yeah, so both really solid weapons. As a damage comparison, on a first hit, the Juju's dealing, at the moment with the setup I've got, is dealing about 1,000 damage more than the Flower. Actually, I'll travel to to the graveyard right now. I'll show you what I'm on about. So on a base hit, the Juju is dealing about 19,000. I think my last damage counter was. Ooh, bit of lag there. But yeah, I think my last damage test I was dealing 19,000 with the Juju opposed to 18 on the first shot with the flower. Yeah, 19,003 opposed to 18,200. But if you see that, it's stacking up. It's stacked all the way up to 64,000 damage there. So the flower's ability of the stacking makes it very handy in dungeons. See, on the Juju bow, last time in dungeons, I was dealing about 248, 280,000 per shot with the Juju. The flower would be doing about the same base damage, but then it stacks up to about 600,000. So, as opposed to where the livid, I'm dealing a max of 400 to no, what was that? Yeah, it was 400 to 500, depending on what secrets I've discovered. So, for dungeons, I've got to recommend the flower. It's just a really solid weapon to have. Where with the bow, also really good to have, but the bow's use lays outside of dungeons and should be paired with a griffin or mastiff armor for slayers. So yeah, that's a little bit of a touch on about that. As far as price range goes, at the moment, the flower is selling for about 4 million at the moment for one 2-starred flower fully enchanted on the auction house. So you can pick them up relatively cheap. Yeah, if we go flower of truth, lowest price, yeah, you can see that you can pick them up for about 3.8 at the moment unenchanted, but it doesn't take long to enchant. If we go over, there's 3-starred for 4.3, and that's going to be doing you absolute bits of damage. As opposed to the Juju, if we go to the Juju, yeah, we're looking at about 20, yeah, 19, oh, it's dropped in price a little bit. But yeah, you're looking at about a 19 million price tag, which is a massive, massive difference opposed to the flower. And then if you wanted to get your Juju 5-starred, you didn't even want to pay for it your own. If you want it 5-starred, you're looking at, well, there's 4-starred, and that's already 22 mil. Where's a 5-starred? 5-starred will be next page. Yeah, 5-starred, you're looking at 23 million min at the moment. So, yeah, big difference with the flower. But for slayers, I do think the Juju is better. If you're grinding out mobs and it's just standard experience, then the flower's the way to go. You can just run around hitting 3 at a time. Don't even have to look because it has homing. It just aims in and will basically aimbot the mobs for you. So that's the advantage of the flower. If you're just grinding experience, definitely go for the flower. If you're grinding slayers and the actual bosses, then I would recommend the Juju because it does more on a standard hit. You can also hold down using the short bow ability and it'll just fire immediately. Also for bosses, it doesn't require mana to use the Juju, where opposed to the flower, you are locked by mana. So even with Ultimate Wise on there, you are still going to run out of mana in a boss fight. So I would recommend the Juju. But apart from that, so I would say flower for dungeons, Juju for slayers, and that's really what you're going to be using these two for. As a comparison, I would say they're both pretty on par with each other. Both have different abilities, but they also have a different price tag. If you don't have enough to afford the Juju or the Livid for that matter, just get a basic, no starred, no max, nothing, just flower, and you will be doing plenty of damage. This is already a top tier weapon, but really affordable, really good for the early to mid game progression. So that's my overall opinion on those two. I would definitely, in my own opinion, take the flower over both of those weapons just to save money, just for progression in general. But if you've got the money to spend, yeah, these 3 weapons are all really good to have for different abilities. For your dungeons, you can be swapping between Livid and Flower, and then for your Slayers, you can swap between your Livid and your Juju. So that's how I would go about that. But at the end of the day, whatever works for you, whatever your budget is, it depends really on what you can afford and what's going to work for you. But yeah, that's my review. Look, I hope this has helped. I know I didn't go do too much damage tests or go into that too much. I kind of wanted to keep this brief and short and just talk about the pros and cons for both. As I said before, and I'll just close with it, Juju for Slayer, Flower for Dungeons, and Livid to pair with both of them nicely. That's how I'd go about with that. Now, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you found it helpful, feel free to smash a like. If you want me to do any more comparisons, or you want me to just show you tips and tricks on how to get better at the game, progress through the game, get better at the game, anything like that, just let me know, and I will gladly help with that. Anyway, hope you had a good day.